sure you've heard the news. There's a place where magic is real. Welcome to Egyptian Eyes. Step into a realm where the mystical meets the everyday. At Egyptian Eyes, our shelves are adorned with shimmering crystals, each one a gateway to healing and transformation. Cleanse your spirit with the purifying smoke of sage and discover jewelry that does more than just sparkle. It speaks to your soul. But that's not all. Our custom tea bar is a sanctuary within a sanctuary. Craft your own blends infused with the ancient wisdom of Egypt and sip your way to a deeper connection with yourself and the world around you. Join a community of seekers and dreamers, all gathering to share their stories and journeys. Here, every visit is a step on your personal path of enlightenment. So why wait? Embark on your mystical journey today at Egyptian Eyes. Unveil the wonders that await you. Your spiritual adventure is just a visit away. Visit us now and let the magic unfold.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Egyptian Eyes After Dark, where ancient wisdom meets today. So we have a special show lined up for you today. We are interviewing special guest Professor Jamela Franklin, and we're going to find out all about who she is and what she does. But first, I want to thank you all for joining live today, for your subscriptions, your shares, your likes. It is a pleasure to have this talk with you and to meet with beautiful minds. So let's begin. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Miss Professor Jamela Franklin. She is a familiar name in my industry, as when I first came in the game and I was doing trade shows with Gloria Parker at the Big Psychic Fair, Miss Jamela was there. All right. So who is she and why is she on the show today? Let's read her bio. Miss Jamela Franklin, ED, MMA, the founder of CEO Allende Enterprises, is an accomplished holistic psychotherapist, certified aromatherapist, and teacher. She's a certified Reiki master, certified metaphysician. I always struggle with that word. Teacher, reflexologist, and energy transformation practitioner. She's a holistic life coach, radio talk show host, college professor, and award-winning published author. Professor Franklin brings a wealth of experience and training to her current private practice in holistic health and spiritual awareness. Having completed her undergraduate education at Cornell University, she later completed a master's degree in educational administration at Harvard University and a master's degree in counseling psychology at Lesley University. After working in various positions in the field of education for over 15 years, Professor Franklin realized that her career interests were changing. She decided to pursue a practice in holistic health and spiritual wellness. Her current practice in Atlanta, Georgia combines her traditional education background with her holistic training and research in psychotherapy, aromatherapy, Reiki, metaphysics, reflexology, empowerment, energy transformation, quantum physics, emotional release, and stress management. All I can say is wow. Like, how do you put all of that in a sentence? Nobody knows. So as you can see, Professor Franklin is a wealth of information, wisdom, and insight, and we're going to bring her on and find out all about it. So here we go. Hello, ma'am.
Greetings, beloved. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. So we have you on the show today to discuss all of your background, all of the services you offer, how you got started, and all of that. So first, let me thank you for joining the show.
But thank you for having me. It's such an honor.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So I just want to start with this because, behind your name, there was an entire alphabet. And I'm curious to know, because it said Jamela Franklin, AAED, like, what does all of that mean?
Well, the EDM is a master's degree in educational administration that I received when I went to graduate school at Harvard University. And then I decided that I wanted to do what I do naturally, which is counsel people, but I need to have the degree for some people, because some people are like, well, okay, you don't have a degree. So I went back and got a master's degree in counseling psychology
Mhm.
from Wesley University. Because
Okay.
I'm a natural person who just talks to people and I love doing it. But so can I go to a school and make sure
Yeah.
that I have the credentials for those who are interested in having the letters
That, because
behind the name.
it was a whole alphabet. Like I got confused after the first M. I said, "What's the second M mean?" So
Yeah,
wow, thank you for sharing that. So you were a Harvard graduate, huh?
yeah,
So that's big time. I never even realized that in all the years that I've known you. I should have known
yeah.
you were royalty.
Oh no, no. It was just really practical for me. Before that, I had gone to another Ivy League school, Cornell University, as an undergrad, and I majored in African American literature, which is
Nice.
dear to my heart, in English. And then I went back to
Mhm.
get my first master's in educational administration to uh, to run certain programs. Like I was a director of a desegregation program in
Mm.
the outer in Braintree, which is like a suburb to Boston. And what
Gotcha.
Boston did, which was interesting, rather than being forced to integrate, they decided to have the outlying areas uh, agree to this DSEC program because it was being mandated throughout the country. And they said, well, we don't want to have it mandated. And so they
Mm.
had the outlying suburban areas buy into the model called METCO, which was Metropolitan Council for Opportunity or something like that. So they would bus the inner city kids, primarily African American kids, out to
Mhm.
the outlying areas so that they could get a quote unquote equal education. So I was in charge of one of those desegregation programs in the
Wow.
town of Braintree. It was like an entire program that was inside of a town. And so I was in charge of the students from K through 12.
Okay. Gotcha. So you started your path in spirituality and teaching early, like early on. You just knew you needed to connect with people and heal. So that's
Yeah.
amazing. So tell me a little bit about this. So in reading your bio, you've done all sorts of studying. Can you talk to me a little bit about your spiritual practices and how you came to be so well versed in many different facets of it? Like, what was your first spiritual course? Like, how did you start this whole thing?
Well, it's interesting because I knew that I desired to help people. And counseling people just came naturally, as I had mentioned, and also teaching people. When I was 5 years old, I remember sitting on my mom's couch and teaching the kids in the neighborhood how to read. Because I was just a
Mm-hmm.
natural teacher. I just loved helping people. So
Mm-hmm.
not only in terms of reading, I said I needed to help them with their issues because people would come to me even
Yeah.
as a child, and talk to me about their concerns. And I'm just naturally connected to them on the heart chakra level. So as
Mm-hmm.
I grew older and I got my master's from Harvard first in educational administration, then I said, that's not complete. I need to have a counseling degree, like I said. So I went back for that. And it was a holistic counseling psychology degree. I have a master's degree in that. But that wasn't enough because it wasn't really culturally based for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was more European, more Eurocentric. And I knew that I couldn't get what I was longing for inside a traditional school. So
Mm-hmm.
I decided to look into other different things. I was just naturally drawn to anything that was of African origin, Afrocentric. Like I was drawn to reflexology. I was drawn to aromatherapy. I was drawn to spiritualism because as a child, I used to know things and see things, and I thought everyone did. So,
Yeah.
I didn't talk like I
Yeah.
see dead people. I didn't
Yeah.
talk like, you know, so people just thought that I was a little old lady because my mom was older when she had me. She had my
Ah.
brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was 20. My mom had my brother when she was like 18. And then she had me 20 years later. I was like the menopausal baby. And
Mm,
so
that
I was
part.
very mature to be a child because my mother was older. So I
Was
just
older.
talked, I just talked like an older person, and then I could see things. And I just thought everyone could see it. So I didn't talk like, oh, well, I see that one over there, I see a spirit. I just talked normally. And so
Mhm.
people just thought, well, she's talking like an old woman because her mom is older. And so they just thought I was wise.
Yeah.
When people come to me for counsel, and I would
Mhm.
talk to them just naturally. And then I was able to see things on another dimension. I used to take my mom's fake crystal jewelry.
Mhm.
She felt she would cut herself and bleed to death, her glass
Mhm.
jewelry. And I would look inside it as a favorite pastime. I remember putting a cover over my head and looking inside of her glass rings, and I could see another dimension. I could
Mm.
see people moving around and walking. And that was a favorite pastime of mine because I was
That's called
raised.
scrying. Scrying.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It was just, and I don't know what made me do it. I just said, oh, okay, I'm gonna look inside her jewelry. And I could spend hours because I could see people
Yeah.
moving in the glass jewelry. And I didn't talk to people about it. I thought everyone could do it. So that led me to wonder what was going on in people's minds because I had to know how
Yeah.
to do that as a child because I was raised as an only child. And in my neighborhood, that was not an asset because other children from larger families would pick on you. So I had to learn how to outthink them. So I became very skilled, and that's where psychology came in, getting into
Yeah.
the minds of
Getting
people,
into the
and
mind. Mhm.
understanding what they were thinking, and then being one step ahead because I couldn't fight the entire neighborhood. It was just me. So,
Mm.
and I didn't have any backup. My mom used to tell me that ladies don't fight. So it was like,
Mm.
okay, if these children are antagonizing me, I have to survive. So I have to learn how to outthink them. So,
Mhm.
so that's how the counseling, because I started really getting into their brains, and then the metaphysical, spiritual part, it was just always a part of who I was. And then once a friend of mine in my 20s, because I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and I moved from
Mhm.
Memphis to Ithaca, New York to go to college at Cornell. And then
Mhm.
I left Ithaca, New York to come to Boston, because that's where I went for my graduate training. So when a friend of mine said to me one day, she was an older friend of mine, she said, how do you know what you know? I had
Mhm.
no idea, Destiny, what she was
Yeah.
talking about. So how do I know what I know? She said,
Right.
yeah, you know, things that other people don't know. I looked
Yeah.
at her, I was like, what? I mean, I had no idea no one had ever said that to me. She said,
Mhm.
yeah, you know, things other people don't know. I was like, no, I don't. She said, yes, you do. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, okay. And then I said, okay, let me study this. And everything that was dealing with the continent of Africa, I've always been drawn to. But I said, okay, but let me look into this thing called metaphysics, which means beyond the physical. And
Yes.
then I studied it. And it was interesting because I came to it after I had graduated from Harvard Graduate School of Education. And I was in
Mhm.
my second master's program. And here I am, arrogant, right? Because my teacher was an older Black woman from South Carolina who had first names as her whole name, Queen and Prince. And she
Mm.
could barely read and write, and she lived in Boston. So I said,
Okay.
I have this degree from Harvard. I'm in the second master's program. I can zip through her metaphysical program, right? It's not a problem. Beloved, I was in her school for 2 years. She
It wasn't
wore
that easy, huh?
she wore me out. Because here it is, right? Linear thinking me, going to someone who is intuitive, who's a master. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, I've mastered these educational institutions, these Ivy League institutions. This is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
2 years.
Mm.
2 years.
But you felt like you got it after those 2 years, yes?
Yeah, well, I couldn't get out until she said I was ready. And I was looking at other people like, they can't surpass me. You know, they came in with me or after me. They can't surpass me. So I was cracking the books.
Wow.
And then it came to me, this is not a linear process.
Uh-huh.
You already have it because you're a water sign of Cancer. You already have it. But you have to set aside the way that you look at this discipline. It's different than when you're going to these schools. It's not linear. It's all intuitive. And you have to submit to spirit. And that was something I had a hard time with. Submitting?
So let me put a pin in that right there. And also shout out to my live audience on Instagram. I pressed the button a little bit late, guys. So you missed the introduction, but we're here live with Professor Jamela Franklin, and she is a host of things, including a spiritual teacher, a aromatherapist, psychotherapist, counselor, Reiki, clairaudient. She does it all, and she's telling us a little bit about her background. Shout out to King Simon. Thank you so much for joining. Y'all got to check out his show too, Numeration. Shout out to Act One Scene 2, Davian. We've got Baba XL in the building. Shout out to VA Hell Perverse. I hope I said that right. I don't know. And Amor. So guys, I see your comments on Instagram. I can't post them on the screen unless you're on YouTube, but if you have questions, please shoot those to me and I will get them up for Miss Jamela. So I'm going to dive right into it because you were telling me a little bit about your background, what piqued your interest after you did Harvard, after you did Cornell, and then you went into metaphysics, and that you found was even harder than the Ivy League schools, which I could appreciate that, right? Shout out to David Taylor. Hello. So I want to kind of dig into your mind a little bit, because where we left off at was you were saying I had to surrender to spirit. And I'm really interested, for a lot of my audience, some of them are new to spiritual things and some of them are super advanced. When you say surrender to spirit, can you give me some examples of what that means to you? Like, what do you mean by when you say that?
Well, for me, the word submit and surrender triggered some probably karmic things in my other lifetimes during slavery, right? Submit to white people. I mean, the word just didn't. I had a hard time. I was like, what?
Okay.
Massa? I don't know. I can't. I don't know.
I ain't doing that. We ain't going.
My spirit said submit. Oh no, because it triggered that slave analogy and whatever. I was like, oh my God. I struggled with that. And then I said, honey, it's not, no, you're talking about giving up the ego to the creator of the universe that created you and everything else. And so I had, it being always Afrocentric, but being very empowered. I don't submit to anybody. And this is not a body, okay? It's the creator of the universe. But I struggle. Submit and surrender were two words I had to get out of my way because I was struggling with it. And so when I finally got that out of the way and said, this means just to let go. Just that I can handle. I can submit and surrender. So
do you feel like your ego was kind of holding you in a place with those words and trigger words for you?
The whole thing, beloved destiny, the whole thing. My going to learn from a woman who probably had maybe at the most an 8th grade education, who was sharp. But I was like, okay, I can get through this because, what she's teaching me can't be harder than what I've gotten through in these Ivy League schools. That's the first thing with the ego. The second thing was dealing with the word submit and surrender. So spirit was like, we're going to take Miss Jamela down this little path because she believes that she's Afrocentric. She believes that she's open. She believes that she can be receptive to ideas that are not coming to her. But I wasn't.
Right. So you had to go through a series of tests, I assume, that made you be more humble in that regard. So real quick, Miss Jamela, this is a live audience, and so you'll see words flashing up on the screen. David is asking Professor, so he might have missed the first half of this where you were talking about your background and how you are a Harvard graduate and a Cornell graduate and you have a background in psychology and metaphysics. So that's why we call her Professor, and it is pronounced Jamela for all of those interested. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So speaking of Professor, now that you've combined your educational studies with the spiritualism side or the metaphysical side, what is it that we need to call you for? What do you do, Miss Jamela? Talk to us about that.
I love that. I always, and for those of you who don't know, I've always thought that Destiny was just amazing. She's like an old soul in a young body. She's I think she popped out of the womb, just being very knowledgeable, just being very on point. Because I used to like talking to her when we were at the same venue. She's just very, very bright, very, very wise, and very astute. So, when Destiny speaks, I listen. She's amazing.
Oh, I am so flattered. Thank you. It's an honor.
Yeah, I do. So you were asking me about the metaphysics and what?
Yeah, I was asking what is it that we should call you for my audience that's just figuring out who you were, just tapping in and joining. I want you to tell them what they can come to you for. What is it you specialize in? I know you do classes. I know you do aromatherapy. I know everything, but they don't. So talk to me a little bit about the services that you offer. Then tell me about the classes and just who you are. Okay.
Well, I'm a certified aromatherapist, a certified metaphysician, a certified Reiki master and teacher. I teach quantum physics. Spirit blessed me with this program called Lineage, which is my name backwards. And what I specialize in now is healing ancestral trauma. So most people who are melanated and call themselves indigenous or of the African diaspora, we have ancestral trauma. And ancestral trauma is really profound because sometimes you're doing things that you don't even know the reason why you're doing them. Sometimes you're saying things, you're like, why did I say that? It's because the ancestors that you are part of, you're part of the lineage, are there with you. And so you have inherited some of their trauma. And what I do when I have people is I test them to see several things, because 93% of the people are suffering from a hidden heart wall. I've combined the emotion code by Dr. Bradley Nelson, and I've taken it up a notch in terms of seeing emotionally what's going on with us. And I have a program that says, don't get over it, go through it. The masculine approach to spirituality and mental health used to tell people, forget about the emotions. That's in the past. Move forward. You don't have to worry about that. That is so untrue. Because if you have not healed those traumas, they are going to follow you through life. And some of them, like I said, are not your traumas. When I work with people, I can tell you which side of the family, if it's on your mother's side, your father's side, I can tell you how far back it goes, even in terms of the year. And then I can tell you exactly what's going on. If you're having anxiety and whatever. So and there are 30 emotions in this column, this book that he has, column A, 30 in column B, and none of the emotions are the same. So in each column, there are 6 rows, and in each row there are 5 different emotions. So I use my pendulum. Sometimes, in the beginning I would use the body, but people would interfere. Like your body would let me know a yes or a no. I only ask yes and no questions. So if your body moves forward, it's a yes. If it moves backwards, it's a no. But then people were trying to control that process. So what I now do is I use my pendulum that's not connected to you. And my pendulum would give me the accurate yes or the accurate no. So I would ask my pendulum, does this person have a hidden heart wall? And most people do. So we go back and forth for yes. And then I would ask, was this created in the mother's womb? Most people, no. Some people it is. Whatever your mother was going through when she had you during her pregnancy, sometimes she passes those things on, but most of it is from the ancestors. So let's just say if it's from your ancestor, Destiny, then I'm saying, okay, if it's on her father's side, it might say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would say, okay, is it the father's mother? I would say no. If it's the father's father, yes. Okay, is it all of the men on the father's side? May tell me yes. I'm doing a hypothetical, right? And then
Understood.
after that, what it would tell me is I would then ask one generation, and each generation is about 23 years, right? Because we didn't live that long back in the day. So then I've had people go up to about 20 generations back. So then what I do is I do a mathematical equation, and I can give you the year when the trauma started in your family and it was passed down through the father's lineage.
And
Then
this is
what I
a part of your ancestral healing, right?
healing ancestral trauma.
Okay.
Then what I do is once I find out how far back it goes, I start testing the different emotions, and then I put you back in that emotion. Even though you may have inherited it from your ancestor, I'm able to have you say for instance, anxiety. I'm so okay, Destiny. Go back to a time when you felt very, very anxious in your life. It can be current, it could be you in the third grade or whatever. And I put you back in that energy. I tell you not to think about it. It's all feeling, right? So I have you relive that in your energetic field. And then I get you to stage 5. Once you're at 5, then I start working on you energetically. And I can do this virtually or in person. And I use a magnet, a refrigerator magnet, to go over my auric field if I'm doing it virtually, or to go over your head if I'm in person with you, to pull it out of your energy field. So
Nice.
it's not cognitive. It's all energy because we're energy bodies. This is why I keep telling people. I'm a therapist. I've taught psychology for over 30 years, right, at different
Right.
colleges. So I tell people we're using the wrong system. That's why people are in therapy for 30 years, because you're using a cognitive thinking process for an energetic body. So it's not going to work long term. But this is an energy that's pulling energy out of you.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very
Very
effective. I work
effective.
with men, women, babies, animals, even my kitty cats. I make work on them.
Beautiful. So you do humans and animals,
Yes.
as far as healing. So
Yes.
now, I had a question from a viewer who wanted to know, where do you teach quantum physics at, or how do you teach that?
Well, I have several courses. So if you
Mm-hmm.
go to my website, you will see there's certain courses that I teach. I have a course called Past Lives, Future Lives, Present Lives, and I'm teaching quantum physics in that course, and some other courses that I have. So when you go online, you can see different courses. But that one is very, very detailed, very, very deep. And then I
Got
also have my life coaching, my 90-day life coaching program
it.
for clients. And that's one-on-one personal, that I go into all of your phases in your life. That program basically is to deprogram you.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's very effective. And I use different modalities and different teachers. But when you come out of that 90-day program, you have a very good sense of who you are. A
It
very
sounds
good
like it.
sense.
I mean, I
You
was
know,
on your website and I was like, oh my goodness, the list goes on, because you also teach Reiki, don't you? Or
yes, yes,
teach that. You teach in emotional healing.
yes.
There's just so many courses. So I have your website listed at the bottom. And is that pronounced Ayende or Yendi?
Oh, Allende.
Allende Enterprises. So I have your website there, and she has a list of services as well. Also, you wrote a book, so let me get that queued up here as well, because I saw this and I said, "Oh wow!" So I posted the book on the screen. It's called "Reflections of the
Oh,
Soul," a memoir, and there'll be, I don't know if they can actually see it because it's moving a little
yeah,
slow.
I can see it. Uh-huh.
Okay. So this is how you find it. It's on her website, agendeenterprises.com, and then you can just type in the book title and find this. So Miss Jamela, can you tell us what this book is about and who needs to read it. Let me remove this so we can see you again. Hang tight.
Yeah.
Okay.
The book, which I have to have some more copies made because I've sold out. But the book is about, it's autobiographical. And what happens is I use my life to teach the different principles about metaphysics. And there are different chapters in the book. So the chapters are giving you a snapshot of how to use my life basically as a teaching tool for you. Because I go over the different areas. About one area is dealing with my grandmother and how when I was a child, at 5 years of age, I saw my grandmother transition. I saw her spirit being lifted out of her body. I literally saw that. I saw two angels come down and lift her spirit out of her body. I was looking at it. So, and I teach people using the book about how to tap into their own spirituality and how to tap into their own innate abilities.
Yeah.
I have a chapter in there that dealt with ego and jealousy, because teenage girls sometimes go through these changes. And I talked about when I was 13 years old, when I had this mystical experience. There was this young woman named Bantina Noel, and she was just beautiful. And all of us little girls disliked her. She had a beautiful personality, just really warm and sweet, beautiful on the inside, beautiful on the outside. And she was curvaceous. I was this big, skinny. No guys looking at me. And most of the other girls, they weren't looking at us because we weren't curvaceous. So you know how jealousy is. So we became envious of her. And then, girls being catty and talked about her. And then this voice came to me I never will forget. I was in the bleachers in the gym with these other girls. And all of a sudden, this voice said, go to the bathroom. I went into the bathroom and I looked at myself in the mirror and I started to cry. Because I didn't really, I recognized my face, but I didn't recognize the energy. And the voice said, you go back out there and you be nice to her. She hasn't done anything to you, and you treat her with kindness. Right. And tears were streaming out of my eyes, and I was like, oh my God. And from that day unto this, if I ever have a twinge of jealousy, I nip it in the bud. Yeah. Because when I went out there, my whole life had changed. Yeah. Because I said, you go back out there and you treat her with kindness. Absolutely. Done anything. And the nicer she was, the angrier girls became because they had no reason not to like her.
Right. So you set that trend of healing. So you've been healing essentially all your life. You've been helping the consciousness raise amongst your peers, which is a phenomenal story. I have a couple of comments here. Pia, the soul mentor, said that she just followed you. Thank you, Pia. Pia is a past life regressionist. If you haven't seen the work that she does, she's phenomenal. She does a deep level of healing and helping you get in touch with your ancestors and guides to figure out what you need to do in this lifetime. You can check out some of those episodes too. She said she just followed you though. Also,
thank you, Pia. I appreciate that.
I'm sure she does too. Talk to me about this. On your website, it says you do energy medicine. What is that?
Energy medicine is amazing. What it does is it's basically dealing with the meridians in the body. And so rather than you're having to have something invasive done, like having a surgery or whatever, you can correct it by using energy. I'm not a medical doctor, so I cannot tell people to go to the doctor and not go to the doctor. So I'm putting that disclaimer out there first so they would know. But with energy medicine, what it is that you start knowing how the body functions. And if there's a blockage in the body, what you do is you work to unblock that energy that's causing distress in the body. So for instance, just like if someone were to have a headache, rather than I can't tell a person to or not take medicine, but I wouldn't take any aspirin. Well, I'm plant-based, I'm vegan, so I don't
Right.
take anything.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I will take is a Benadryl if I have an allergic reaction to food, because my throat will close up.
Mm.
If someone has put some meat in something, whatever, my body will have an emergent and a very quick allergic reaction to it. But like with energy medicine, like if I were to have a headache, I would just do this and go across my forehead and all the way down. Because what I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing is I'm pulling the energy out and all the way down. And then here
Mm.
I'm pulling energy out.
Okay.
And then here, and I teach this too. And then I
Yeah.
go all the way down. Then I go all the way to the back and whatever. And then a lot of people are having distress because their energies are not crossing over. And
Mm-hmm.
so when your energies are homolateral, going straight up and down, that's not normal. But that's
Okay.
when if people are sick, the energies are not crossing over like this. How do you get them to cross over? You can do a cross crawl. Put your left elbow on your right knee, right,
Mm-hmm.
anything like this. And when you're walking and you're crossing your meridians, that's good. But going
Mm.
straight up and down. So when people are having learning disabilities, or when they anything that's not uh, the healthiest, your energies are not crossing over. And something as simple as knowing how to have that corrected with energy medicine, sometimes it's the answer. It can get rid of things like that. And I am my number one client. So I don't tell people to do anything that I haven't
What
done
you
on
want to
myself.
do. So
Yeah.
what's funny is I was going to ask you, because in looking at the plethora of services and offerings that you have, I was curious, like if you had to name it just down to one or two, what would you say is like your favorite modality or service that you offer out of everything you do? And that might be hard, but since you are your number one fan and client, I do want to know. Yeah, I am curious, like, what is your favorite modality that you offer?
The thing, what I love is to be of service to humankind, particularly people, you know, who are within the African diaspora and people, period. And that's
Mm-hmm.
healing ancestral trauma,
Mm-hmm.
because we're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and
Mm-hmm.
post-traumatic slave disorder. And those two things are very, very serious. So by my working with people, so they can see what belongs to them, how to get rid of it, because in traditional counseling, it traditional counseling, I think, is excellent for getting you out of an emergency situation. It's kind of like going to the emergency room. You go to the emergency room when you have a critical need that requires immediate attention. But then after you leave the emergency room, you see your primary care physician for long-term care. So I
Mm-hmm.
think traditional counseling will get you probably out of stress quickly. But in terms of the long term, as someone who teaches psychology, who's at her clinic, I've had my clinical practice for over 30 years. It doesn't work long term.
Okay.
So healing ancestral trauma
Mm-hmm.
gets you in touch with your ancestors. It gets you in touch with your emotions. I have seen so many people, particularly people who are younger, that are robotic. They don't know how they feel. When I ask people, how do you feel? I don't know, because they're dealing with technology. They're dealing with the cell phones. They're dealing with computer games. They're dealing with everything that is not human. So their
Gotcha.
feelings have been shut off. So
Mm-hmm.
that, and then also I love, love, love my 90-day life coaching program, because that's one-on-one. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you um, everything that I know, and giving you things to put in your toolbox. So when
Mm-hmm.
you're no longer in session with me, you have tools that are lifelong that will help you no matter what the situation may be. And then, I teach Reiki courses. Everything I do, I'm empowering you. So
Nice.
you're coming to me because we're doing this together. We're a team.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike with traditional medicine, whatever the doctor has on the white coat and he or she is in charge. No, no, we're a team. We're a team. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
there to help coach you along, because you really have all the answers and you just need someone to help you know that you have the answers and pull it out of you and give you tools. So a lot of times with traditional counseling, they're not giving you tools that you can use lifelong. They're giving you tools to come back to see them until you die. With
Exactly.
me, I'm
Yeah.
giving you tools that are going to transform your life and that you can use once we're done with the treatment. I said, oh, I can use this tool for this. I can do EFT, emotional freedom technique. I know how to breathe, 4-3-7 breathing. I know how to do energy medicine. I have tools now that I
Mm-hmm.
can
And
pull
and
from.
these courses that you offer, thanks for joining Visa 3. These tools that you offer, are these mainly for customers to heal on their own, or are these classes that they take so that they can offer the services to others and be fellow healers? What would you say?
Both. My Reiki
Okay.
classes, I certify you so you can become a Reiki master. My
Mm-hmm.
aromatherapy classes, I certify you so you can become a certified aromatherapist. My energy
Mm-hmm.
medicine classes, I teach you the technique so you can then incorporate that within your own practice or just on yourself or your family. So everything that I do, in terms of my courses, I'm teaching you so that you can then do it for yourself as well as for others. Because that's my
Right.
goal. My goal is to help us heal this planet. I'm not out here trying to do it all on my own. That's not
Right.
I'm not a guru. I'm very good at what I do. But I don't want people walking behind me. Yes, master teacher. No, I'm not into that.
Right. That's a
You know,
lot.
I'm not into that. Some people are into that. They're like, they're walking
They want to
behind
be
them,
worshipped.
whatever. Yeah, that is not me. Yeah, my thing
So,
is to show you and to empower you so you can take it to the next level and help others.
talk to me about prices. So how much on average do your courses cost if you want to drop some numbers?
Well, it depends. My courses are it depends. My sessions range from 150 and life coaching program, which is a 90-day program, can go up to, it depends, but I have payment plans too for everything.
Right.
So 1,500, but you have one-on-one with the
Okay.
life coaching, and that's 90 days,
Right.
and then what happens is that with that, you have a private session with me every week. I'm teaching, and this course is, I mean, it's no joke. It's
Okay.
like really, really detailed. You're doing meditation, you're doing visualization, you're looking at videos, you're listening to audios, you're listening to things at night because I'm deprogramming you in the 90-day program. So it is
Oh,
very intensive. It's very, very, and even if you're working, you can still do it. And you meet with me for 2 hours a week for 12 weeks.
hmm.
So, just normally a lot of people would charge that just to meet with them. But I'm giving you a very intense course of self development. And then with the Reiki course, that's very intense. And the
Okay.
prices for that, because with the Reiki course, I'm giving you Reiki 1, Reiki 2, all the books, food, if we're doing it in
Oh,
person. Yeah,
oh,
vegan food, uh, all the instructions, certification, certificates, all of that. Those two courses combined is 500 for a weekend. And then Reiki 3 intensive with energy medicine. So my Reiki courses are taught also with the energy medicine courses. So you're getting really 4
two
courses
for
in one.
one. Yeah.
4 courses
Mm-hmm.
in one for 500. So, and you can't beat that anywhere. And the
No.
people that I've taught, I sometimes have gotten students from other people that have taken Reiki somewhere else, and they said, I didn't learn this. I didn't learn this. All I did is I sat down and we did a couple of things, and then they gave us a sheet of paper. But I didn't learn how to do the chakra. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't learn the energy medicine techniques. I don't know. I
Right.
didn't learn any of this. I said, yeah, you get in 4 courses. And then
Mm.
with my other courses, because I'm a college professor too, right? So I teach it like that. I teach, they're very, very detailed, like the past life, present life, and future life. That
Mm-hmm.
is so intense. It gives you information about ETs. I tell you why you incarnated. And I also specialize in soul contracts. So I look at your
Nice.
contract. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so talk to me about that. Do you look at soul contracts like energetically? So like they can come to you. So we go, hey, Professor Jamila, I want to know what my soul contracts are. And you just line them
Yeah,
up. Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Well, what
Mm,
happens with the soul contracts is I always go inside and I talk with my spirit guides and my ancestors. I always do that. I pray
mm-hmm.
beforehand. And then I just start asking because your life is going to show me some things. And now I'm also combining it with the Akashic records. So I'm looking
Nice.
at certain things as they happen in your life. What is the what is the role? And the healing ancestral trauma also gives me a lot of information about why you chose to come here at this time. Because
Yeah.
everyone, this was a choice, even though things are looking kind of crazy now. We
Yeah.
chose,
I told someone that this morning. I said, we can't really complain about what's going on in the world. We chose to incarnate at this time for whatever reason. This is what we signed up for. And we knew what it was when we signed up. So I don't
yeah,
want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Just do your part. Okay.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
so
yeah,
funny you're saying that. Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. But the thing is, we have amnesia because people would tell me, I wouldn't have incarnated with this mother because she was abusive, or this father because he molested me. I said, oh yeah. I said, before when your body was not, when you were not in a body, you met with your team, and you decided that you wanted to come through this particular mother, through this
Mm-hmm.
particular father, to learn what they were going to teach you and what you were going to teach them. You had an
Mm-hmm.
agreement. None of this
Yeah.
stuff is random. You had a contract with them. And, oh no, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't. I know. I said, sweetheart, yes, you did. I
Yeah.
said,
You
yes,
signed
you
up
did.
for that. You
Yeah,
wanted to do
yeah,
this.
and no one imposed this on you. Your teachers, as a matter of fact, would ask you if you decided on a very, very challenging life. Are you sure you want to do that? You said, yeah. See, I remember when I was
Mm-hmm.
in the class and I raised my hand. They said, "Who wants to go to Earth?" I saw they showed it to me. I raised my
Mm-hmm.
hand, and I said, "Next time, no."
Like, don't send me there anywhere but there. We have a
I
comment
raised
from
my hand.
Jasmine Hill. We have a comment from Jasmine Hill. She says the one-on-one is intense but extremely effective. Is this one of your clients? Jasmine Hill? Jasmine Hill, maybe, because she said the one-on-one is intense but extremely effective. I guess
Yeah,
she's taking that from personal experience. Thank you for
yeah.
sharing that with us, Jasmine.
Thank
So
you.
for
Thank you,
those of
Jasmine.
us, yes, thank you, Jasmine. For those of us who haven't had the luxury of taking your one-on-one courses or are interested in it, tell me who should take the courses that you offer. Like you said, the most effective in your opinion is the 90-day one-on-one,
Yes,
and then
the ancestral.
the
Hmm.
ancestral.
Yeah,
So I guess answer this for me. Who do you think would benefit the most from ancestral healing session with you? Who needs
everyone.
that? Oh, okay.
Everyone. I've had me in it. Everyone.
So how does it work? Like I call you, I lay on the table, and then I like do
No, no.
hypnosis. What do you do?
Well, healing ancestral trauma, there are two sides to it. It's like Alamaj 1, which is my name backwards, and then Alamaj 2. Alamaj 1 is straight energy.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm doing is going through your ancestral line to see where it started, which side of the family, and so I can then start pulling it out. When I say I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
the God within me, because I'm a microcosm connected to the macrocosm, right? So I tell
Mm-hmm.
people I'm extremely gifted and good at what I do.
Okay.
However, I'm a vessel.
Mm-hmm.
Spirit is doing the work. I'm very clear. It's not
Yeah,
Jamila,
it's not me.
no,
It's
no,
yeah.
it's spirit in the ancestors. I'm very clear. Some people, and so when I say I am, that means that I am within me. It's not the vessel. So
Yeah.
what happens is the healing ancestral trauma. I look at people and I say, if they only came, not, they don't have to see me, but if they worked on their ancestral trauma things, because people are being triggered. Like I was telling someone recently, what's happening now in society, they are getting triggered. I tell
Right.
people what's going on so they don't get blindsided. But I'm fearless. I'm not telling you to put fear in you. I'm telling you, you better look at this over here because this is coming down the pike. So we need to learn how to transmute that so it's not going to affect you because it is coming. And for you to hide your head in the sand, that's not going to help. It's just like cancer. When you see in America, it's a cancer. So in order to deal with it, you can't pretend like it's not there. You have to you have to transmute it with the violet flame. You have to do it through prayer, through visualization. You have to do something. And people are trying to hide. No, we're here to transmute it. That's why we came here, to transmute it, to lift the vibration and the energy of the planet, not to pretend that it's not here or get into your own little cubbyhole and say, I'm not going to be concerned about anybody else but me. That's not why we came here. So we came here to transmute it, to help Gaia get to the next level, to the fifth dimension. So healing ancestral trauma, I tell people, that's the number one thing. And then having your own individualized program to show you your soul contract and all of that. And so with the 90-day program, you're going to be shown all of that. So those are two different things. The healing ancestral trauma is like very good. It's a stopgap measure to hopefully get you over to the 90-day program, which is more intensive and gets to the root.
So walk me through really quick. Walk me through, because we're going to end promptly at 10 and we've got about 9 minutes. I'm interested in knowing, what is the process for an ancestral healing session? What do we do? Do I lay on the table? Do I call you? Like, what's the process? Like, what happens?
For ancestral healing ancestral trauma, there are 2 steps. The first one is the one I was talking about in terms of pulling the energy out of you and all that. So, and you don't talk. When a person comes to me, I don't need to know your story. That's not important, okay? That's in traditional therapy. Because the therapy, the talking is going to put you back in your head. It's going to be linear and cognitive. And that's not it. So when you come to me, I tell people to come, and everyone needs to have the session done. Everyone, because people have experienced trauma or they're going through trauma. Now, people are traumatized about what's going on out there, right? Even if they're on top of their game, still things are just hitting people. The chemtrails, there are things hitting people in different ways. So with that, you come, you have what happens is the person makes a deposit. The person will have a discovery call. Then the person will make a deposit. Once you make the deposit, then I send you a link to a video. So you can get a sense of what's going on before the session. Because I don't desire to have you spend money asking me questions during the session. So what I do is I have you see the video, and then when you come for your session, we're ready to jump in to do the work. I'm ready to start having
in person. It's an in-person session?
No, it can be in person or virtual. I'm doing the virtual because I don't need to have you physically in front of me because we're all connected.
Right. It's energetic.
Yes, energy. It's just like prayer. A person doesn't have to be in front of you for you to pray for the person. It's the same thing with this. Energy is non-local. So I can deal with you, and it's just as effective because I have a client tomorrow that I'm dealing with on Zoom. So then after I do all of that, then if a person wants to go further in terms of having the chakras cleared and whatever, that's healing ancestral trauma number 2 or Alamach number 2. Then you're laid out on the table. And then I'm going through all of your chakras. I'm energy testing to see which chakra is still blocked, going through all of that. And then what we're doing, I'm using sound therapy, visualization, color therapy, ancestral incantations, ear, hand, and foot reflexology, and energy medicine. I'm doing 10 things on you with part 2.
Wait, you're taking me too fast. So I know about foot reflexology. I love it. So you mean there's a hand reflexology?
Yes.
And ear reflexology?
Yes.
So talk to me about that real quick. I know we got about 5 minutes, but tell me, what is the process to do hand reflexology?
What I do is, because I'm trained as a reflexologist too. So what I do is I just go into your hand, use my aromatherapy. I use aromatherapy because I'm working with part 2. I'm working on the spirit, mind, and body. So I'm using the aromatherapy to get you out of your head as you're laying flat and you're fully clothed. It's not a massage, it's straight energy work.
Right.
I tell people I'm not a massage therapist.
We are not massaging nobody.
I'm not a massage therapist. No, you're not getting a massage, honey. You know, Professor Jamila does not do massages. No,
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 no, no.
no, no. It's not that kind of party.
The only
So
thing you're getting oil on is your hand.
your hands and your feet, and and the rest of you is fully clothed. So don't come and say, "Oh, I didn't know." You're going right out that door.
You're gonna
No,
learn today.
you're going right out the door. Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was, no, honey. I don't do no. That is not who I am. No.
Okay,
So
tell me the process though, real quick. What's the process? You do my hand. What do you do?
okay, so with the hand, I'm pressing energy points within your hands, energy points within your ears, energy points within your feet, right? And by that time, you're knocked out because I've used aromatherapy, my Peace Be Still aromatherapy, which just gets rid of the stress, and you're knocked out. And then I tell people that they can go to sleep if they would like. And some people are so nosy, they want to see everything I'm doing. And your eyes are fully closed. Yeah, they're so nosy, right? I said, okay, I don't care. So, they're trying to stay awake and all this other kind of stuff. But I have like an eye pillow over your face, over your eyes. And so then what happens is people have these different experiences. And so, because one person thought a whole group of people came into the room. I said, it's no one in the house but me. No.
Well, maybe his ancestor team showed up. You know, that spirit team, they be coming in tribing.
Yes. So and some people think I've gone from the room. I mean, different people have different experiences, right? Based on what your ancestors would like for you to experience. And I tell people, I can't tell you what you're going to experience. That's between you, the ancestors, and the creator. All I know is I'm the vessel, and they're using my body to connect with you because they're straight energy. They can't just come in and do everything. They need a vessel to manipulate the energy centers. So then, and that's an hour. So after and the first part is about an hour and a half with the.
So wait, how much that costs? I like to talk prices. I mean, I'm a number 8. I like to talk money. I'm a number 8. So how much that costs?
Each one is
separate.
150. Yeah. So some people get them combined, and that's three for both. But each one is 150. So the one that's straight, my pulling out the dealing with your ancestors and telling you how far back it goes, that's usually about an hour and a half.
Okay.
And then the second one is definitely about an hour. Right. And so this is what I can guarantee. You would not leave the way that you came in. Anything else is up for grabs. I tell people you would not leave the way that you came in. It doesn't work like that. And I tell people it's not me. I'm the vessel. The spirit is in there doing the work. And your ancestors are the ones that bring you to me because I don't have any business cards. I'm not out there marketing like that. People find out about me through word of mouth and through programs like this, or if I'm doing workshops. That's how they find out about me. So I'm not out there mass marketing. I don't. Yeah. That's not
so
what I do.
You're an in-house name, literally and figuratively.
Yes, boutique. Boutique. Absolutely. Like Egyptianized boutique.
Boutique. That's right, Miss Professor Jamela Franklin. Okay.
Boutique.
So I think that's a great way to close. I have your website panning at the bottom of the screen. That's www.Allende Enterprises. You've heard it all. She can teach you. She can heal you. She can coach you. Call her now for her services or check her out on the website. She also has a book that you can check out on her website as well. That is more like a bio and teaches you how to cooperate or understand the soul a little bit more in depth. So it was a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'll be bringing you back here. You're welcome.
You are so amazing. I just thank you, Destiny.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. And also shout out to my troll. Y'all, this is like my 7th or 8th episode doing this. And I actually had a troll today and I really feel good about it. Troll meaning somebody in the comments starting mess, questioning my guest and just, kind of making a mock. So I didn't post all the comments, but shout out to my troll, David Taylor. Shout out to you. We appreciate you watching, and I hope you got what you needed to learn from this show. And, welcome back. Just keep your comments if they're not going to be pleasant to yourself. All right. So you all have a good night. And thank you for watching Egyptian Eyes After Dark. See you next week. Ciao. Thank you, Professor.
Thank
Namaste.
you.
Ciao.